Everybody, this is Kevin, and since last week on Friday, Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and that started the summer movie season. And in honor of that, I would like to review the blockbuster movie, or the first blockbuster that started it all, and that is Jaws. Jaws was originally a book, which was written by Peter Benchley, and it was published in 1974. The book was an instant success, and they made a movie adaptation called Jaws. The premise is after Amity is attacked, had lots of shark attacks. It's up to 3 people to catch the shark. And the 3 people are Quint, Hooper, and Chief Brody. The first thing I have to say about this movie is that the score is phenomenal. And it is, I think, like probably one of the best scores ever. It goes up there. It rivals Star Wars and other great scores that are up there. Another thing great about this movie was that it was suspenseful. I mean, I was always like, my heart's always beating whenever that score comes up. I'm like, oh my god. It sometimes gives me the chills every day. Well, whenever I watch it. The performances by Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss, who were the main leads, were great. I mean, their performances were great. I want to say they all match, but they all match greatness. Like, they're equal, but Quint, played by Robert Shaw, was the best character ever, because his motivation for hunting sharks was because he was part of the Navy, and he was part of the USS Indianapolis, which sank, and led to sharks attacking sailors who were in the water. The other performances were great as well, like the mayor and Chief Brody's wife. And I can understand the mayor, because he's only like trying to cover up the shark attacks, which he does. He's not the villain of the movie, but you can understand because Amity is like a summer town, and you know, that's the way of life. If its way of life is destroyed, then it could fail.
I'm only trying to say that Amity is a summer town. We need summer dollars.
Have I mentioned that I have not mentioned the camera angles for this movie, and it is great. In many scenes where it's the shark's point of view is amazing. It's so good. It's flawless. I mean, I feel like I'm actually the shark, actually. It's kind of like virtual reality for the 70s. I mean, it was great. Then we get to the shark hunting. Yes, that is... When we get to that, it starts off low. Because they can't just start with the big action. They have to start from the bottom. And then when Quint's sitting down and, you know, he's just enjoying his lunch, the fishing line starts to move, and he slowly prepares for what is about to come next. And it is when he has to try to catch the shark. It is amazing. The best part of the movie is actually when Chief Brody is just like he's just has to do chum. He does not like that job, so he wants to drive instead, but he can't because Quint told him Hooper drives the boat, so he has to do the chum. And then he starts kind of kind of complain a bit. It is funny, but then when the shark comes out of the water and it's suddenly suspenseful. That is great scene work or movie work. It is amazing.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Now, some people would argue that there are other great scenes, but that scene is amazing, especially with that line, "We're gonna need a bigger boat," or "You're gonna need a bigger boat." Now, one thing people will use against the movie is the shark itself. Some say it looks a little fake, but I would argue that it actually looks like it's going to eat me alive in my sleep. That's how terrifying it looks. Plus, it does look like a great white sometimes, but it also looks like a killer, a serial killer. Also, when our heroes start to run out of methods of catching the shark and things seem hopeless, they start getting desperate, so they use risky things and they don't pay off, and it did have consequences. Like, I started to care. Like, I actually wanted them all to survive. Like, when Hooper went underwater in the cage scene, it looked like he was probably not going to make it. Surprisingly, he did. And when Quint was about to die, I was like, wait, he could make it maybe, or not. But then when he was getting nearer and nearer the shark, we all knew he was screwed. I mean, his death was brutal. Then when Brody was when he thought he was the last one on the ship, it gets really suspenseful. Now that Quint has died, the king of all shark catchers, there is little hope now. But Brody is, I guess, resourceful, and he does try to escape, kind of. But then I guess he kind of realizes that he must try to kill the shark, and it was really the most suspenseful from there. Like, suspense was an all-time high, like the bigger boat scene line or something. Then, when Brody was starting to, when the shark has like a tank on its mouth, Brody tries to shoot it so it can explode, and it got really suspenseful there, like the music and everything. And then he gave the best line ever.
Alright, come on. Show me the tank. Show me the tank. Blow up. Blow up. Smile, you son of a...
Then we see Brody reunite with Hooper after that, and then we have I guess a good ending. I mean, that ending is amazing. I mean, the line is amazing. I mean, well, I'm not gonna say it's like the best line ever, because we already have that, but it was great. And I thought that was a great movie. So I just reviewed the movie that started Steven Spielberg's career, one of the greatest working directors ever. So I'm gonna rank it because I want to, and it's gonna get an A+, which is a 10 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this review, comment what I should review next. Maybe I could do Spider-Man because his movie's coming out soon. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you later. Bye.